October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it's important to know what the treatment options are. This is Dr. Rufus Mark from Phoenix Cyberknife Center with how they can help breast cancer patients. So great to see you.
Thank you.
Because when you get that diagnosis, it's terrifying. It's terrifying for you, it's terrifying for your family. What type of treatments do you offer breast cancer patients?
Well, I'm a radiation oncologist, so what we're able to do, now dating back about 30 years, is preserve the breast in the vast majority of women who have early breast cancer. So it's a really wonderful thing to be able to do, because not only do we work on saving the lady's life, but she can keep the breast, and 98% of women in interviews conducted by the National Cancer Institute rate their cosmetic results as very good after this.
Because that's a component that we don't always think about, you know, because, you know, women go through it. Obviously, the first goal is to save their life, but then they still want to feel like a woman.
Absolutely.
Know? And so many of them
Absolutely.
have to go through double mastectomies.
Well, actually, they don't have to.
That's great.
The Angelina Jolie story, while important for what she had, because she has this gene that put her at risk, but less than 1% of women have that BRCA1 and 2 gene. So the vast majority of women do not benefit from bilateral mastectomy.
Oh, that's
vast majority. Yeah.
Very good to know.
Yeah.
Very good to know. So what makes Phoenix Cyberknife different compared to other treatment centers right here in the Valley?
Well, the Cyberknife, if you can imagine radiation as a broad stroke paintbrush, the Cyberknife is like a ballpoint pen. Very tight, controlled radiation delivery so that you can achieve two things with it. Much higher dose of radiation to cure cancer, but much less dose to surrounding normal tissues to preserve quality of life. That's what makes it such a strong place to go for cancer treatment.
And when you share that with a breast cancer patient, that not only are we going to save your life, we're going to keep you feeling and looking like a woman, what is their reaction?
Oh, they love it. I mean, they're blown away, relieved. No, it's a wonderful thing to be able to do in medicine. I just love what I do.
That's
very
great.
privileged.
Isn't that a great feeling, right?
Yeah,
You get up every day knowing you're doing something incredible for women. Now, I know we're talking specifically about breast cancer, but Phoenix Cyberknife treats all sorts of cancers.
Yeah, well, this same idea, prostate cancer, for example, there you're not so worried about cosmesis, but you can imagine as a man, the prostate's in a tight place. The bladder's right on top of it, rectum's right below it, there are nerves that run right around it that control sex, so that what Cyberknife allows you to do is not only cure the cancer in the prostate, but spare all that quality of life that's right around it. So,
absolutely.
And it does just as good a job as surgery.
So what makes you guys different? What are you doing? What is the technology that is so revolutionary there?
Well, it's a radiation device called a Cyberknife that achieves this very tight, controlled radiation delivery system. And we happen to have one of the pioneers behind the technology, Dr. John Kressel, and we're all just privileged to be working there.
We're used to seeing Dr. Kressel here. It's nice to see you as well, but that's a face and a name that we're familiar with. So many people have to make this decision, Dr. Mark, based on whether they can afford to treat this type of cancer. Is it covered by insurance?
Yes, the vast majority of insurances cover it, and Medicare, for example, Blue Cross Blue Shield, on and on and on. So and we have a team that makes sure that people are covered before we move along with things, but the vast majority of cancer-related problems are covered when it comes to Cyberknife use.
That's awesome. That's a wonderful thing to hear. And you know, so many people, once they get that diagnosis, they have a lot of questions, and you are going to be sharing some answers to those questions from some of your patients a little bit later in this program, so stick around for that. But if you have any questions right now for Phoenix Cyberknife and Radiation Oncology Center, you can email them at info@pcroc.com. They're located at 4611 East Shea Boulevard in Phoenix. Call them at 602-497-0605. Or you can visit them at phoenixcyberknifecenter.com.